Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show. Here we go.
Let's go right back at him with another banger from Who-Bangin Sports. This is the Boss in the Sauce Show. We are here right now to talk about this game here, LSU and USC. First, let me introduce you to the guys. First, I got my guy, Wine Time. How you feeling, Wine Time? Let them know where you at, what you up to today.
Yes, sir. What's up, fellas? Good to be here with you guys again. We're about 4 weeks away from start of college football season. A lot of teams' fall camp started up this week, so stoked to break some of these teams down with you guys.
And how you feeling tonight, Big Ragu, coming straight from Florida? How you feeling, sir?
Central Florida, baby, in the house. Doing good. Doing good. Ready to talk about these early looks on these games. You know what I'm saying? Early looks. Let's just clarify one thing. The opinions of the panel not necessarily reflects the opinion of Who-Bangin Sports wholly, but as us individuals, we're going to give you what we think might happen in the short term and the long term of things. But it's always a pleasure to be here with you, my guy. And happy, what is it, Wednesday, the wine time. What are we drinking today, Wine? What's the flavor of the week?
We got a little Cabernet going over here.
Cabernet, all right, good job.
Little Cabernet always got the party started. But let's go dig right into this LSU USC game. Now, LSU, my guy, Brian Kelly, is coming with a new quarterback this year. And he also fired the whole defensive staff, basically. And he brings in a new defensive coordinator along with some help in there. And he's getting back 6 on offense, 6 on defense, and he's heading into this season with his eye on the prize in the SEC. Took down Alabama last year, and this first game of the season, jumping right into it, he meets up with USC, who's moved over to the Big Ten, which is, a big leap. And on top of that, they open with LSU. But my guy Lincoln Riley and his team over here in USC, they can get the job done as well. Now, USC also comes out with a new quarterback last year. Once again, new DC on this one as well. They bring over the DC from UCLA. He's getting back 5 on offense and 9 on defense that didn't do too well last year. How are you feeling about this matchup here, Wine Time?
Yes, sir. Yeah, 2 interesting teams here. 2 teams that went out and got a new defensive coordinator in the offseason. Brian Kelly went out and got Blake Baker. I believe he was a D coordinator at Mississippi State last year. Had a really good defense over there. So he brings him right in, should fit right into this defense that needs improvement. Last year they gave up a lot of yards on the ground and in the air. Jaden McDaniels had to do a lot. USC, on the other hand, they bring in D'Anton Lynn from UCLA, bought him out. He brought a couple of his guys over too. John Humphrey, who had a 95% tackle rate last season at UCLA. Man-to-man cornerback, has all the tools to be good at the next level. Also brings over the leader of the defense last year, who was only a redshirt freshman, Kamari Ramsey. Had a 92% tackle rate. He can get in coverage, but he's a ball hawk safety. He's kind of he's going to be the captain of that defense as a redshirt sophomore this year, even though he's a young guy. They also, they end the Caleb Williams era, and now it's going to be the Miller Moss show. He played in that bowl game last year, played really well. He's been with the program for a little bit now. Everyone over there at USC has a lot of belief in him. Lincoln Riley talks the world of him. And, I could see why. In spring practice, he's got all of these receivers he's been throwing to, probably one of the most talented wide receiver rooms in the nation. You're going to start off with Zach Brian Branch. One of them, I think I got that name wrong, but one of the more explosive wide receivers in college football with the ball in his hand. He can go for 1,000+ yards. He's going to be an NFL talent. They also got a guy named Lemon. He comes from Los Alamitos over in Southern California. He came over here with the quarterback, was one of the top wide receivers in the state of California. Didn't get a lot of playing time last year as a true freshman, but he played on both sides of the ball. That's how much they just wanted him to get out in the field. He's going to come in. He's going to have a big year. He's another explosive guy with the ball in his hands. It's really going to be up to this new quarterback, though, if they can protect him and stuff. I think they're going to improve on defense dramatically this year. We saw what Lynn did with the UCLA unit last year, turned him one of the worst defenses in the nation to one of the, believe a top 5 last year. A lot of guys that went to the NFL and stuff. So I think he's going to do well in his first season at USC. Then you look over at LSU, also lose their quarterback. Both these guys, 1 and 2 overall picks. They're going to bring in a guy named Garrett Nussmeier, 4 years at the program, knows the program really well. He was there before Brian Kelly went there. His teammates also believe in him. He played in the bowl game last year too, went off. And you know what? Brian Kelly too, really offensive-minded coach. Yeah, and fuck.
I could take it from. I could take a little bit from here, right here, man. Yeah, this game right here, West Coast, gonna be played right here on the West Coast, and you know, when it comes to LSU, as you were saying, Brian Kelly, I think he got the troops ready. Nussmeier, he's fit and cut out for the job. The only places that he seems to be slacking is a little bit on the defensive end, which the thing about Brian Kelly that I've understood from him being Notre Dame coach is that he understands how to delegate responsibilities. We went through quite a few DCs before we got to the right one. We went through quite a few other coaches before we got to the right one. So he's going to delegate. He's fired the whole thing. He's going to delegate the right guys out there to do the job. And on the SEN, only thing that I see concerning about USC is the offensive line and the defensive line. When I looked at them in spring ball, they both still look to be quite undersized, believe it or not. I would have thought that they had like a big slow group and then or less talented group. And now it looks like they have a smaller group, but maybe they're a little more talented. But in the spring game, they weren't impressive at all on the offense or the defensive line for me. So I say, you know, my guy Lincoln Riley, his bad habits is still his bad habits. And I don't think the cure is just bringing in the DC from UCLA. Chip Kelly recruited some fine athletes at the beginning of the NIL to create what they had going on over there. But he did coach a great secondary. So, and USC had a lot of bad luck in the secondary. So maybe he tightens that up from him. But I don't know. Maybe the offense takes a step down. The defense takes a small step up. But USC still outside of playoff bound to me. What you think, Big Ragu?
Yeah, I'm going to express my sentiments on the USC. I tend to agree with you a lot. But let me start off with the visitor here, LSU, getting 6.5 at USC. Now, the good thing for Kelly is he doesn't have to face FSU for another season to open up because he did take 2 L's on his openers at Baton Rouge and 1 in Tallahassee. But to Kelly's credit, you know, he's a tentative, not tentative coach. He's a guy that pays attention to all the details. He'll clean up some things. You know, the big mess for them has been on the defensive side, where they've given up over 400 yards, like 416 yards a game, which is crazy on the defensive side. So, they definitely clean up the mess. He doesn't have Jaden Daniels somewhere where Wine touched on Nussmeier, who's been there for the whole term. Now, this is a guy that stepped in 2 roles, during the season when Jaden got hurt, and he had the big game, the big bowl game against Wisconsin, where he threw for over 400 yards, 3 TDs, and scored on a 98-yard winning touchdown drive. So, and the good thing about the LSU offense here also is, if you followed LSU like we followed them pretty close last year, and dating back to Kelly's first year, just a team that cashes overs like at a tremendous rate. I think they had like 15 in a row, and they finally took one an under like in a 74 against Georgia State, which that game still got in the low 70s. It didn't cash, but it's pretty close. But I think they're still going to have a little bit of defensive issues. Their whole offensive line is still intact, with the exception of the center, who's a true freshman coming in. But we got a left tackle, Will Campbell, who in 805 snap, 15 consecutive games did not allow a sack. So you want that left side protected on the blind side for the quarterback, and we're going to get that support again from Campbell here, who's yet to give up a sack. Like I say, 805 snaps. So I think they'll give him plenty of protection. They'll have receivers intact. Running game should be intact. So I don't think they let down offensively, even though, Daniels is probably a little more athletic than Nussmeier here, but Nussmeier will get the job done. I see problems on the defense for these guys a little bit. I still see overs, maybe not this particular game, but to bring up the fact on Riley's squad, he's a third-year coach also, as Kelly is. Like we talked about, he has 3 Heisman winning quarterbacks with no national championship. So, Moss is coming in like Wine was talking about. He's a guy that, they're pumped up on. But I tell you the truth, if Moss lets down a little bit here, they brought in Mahayeva from UNLV. I mean, UNLV lit up the scoreboard last year, so I think he might get a little impatient here. I don't think he pulls them out early, but if something goes south for the offense, this kid's very capable of running that offense too. And, he's a quarterback guru, this guy, so he knows. So he'll have number 1, number 2 ready to roll. I think you're right about the defense, though, for USC. I think that's where they're going to make their biggest strides, I believe, even though we're talking about, Branch and Lane as the receivers, top guys, with a top potential. I think the biggest question mark for them is going to be the O-line, And then, stepping into, even though it's not a Big Ten game, they're going to be stepping into Big Ten play. And what's that offense going to produce to block for the run? They're going to have to establish a run. They can't be one-dimensional. It's going to be a long season for them, which we know traditionally Pac-12 teams have struggled on the defensive side. But I think they're going to be right on the defense. So we got to see what this quarterback brings and if they get the running game going. If that's going to be the key matchup for them, is that offensive line get the running game going early on against LSU.
Well, there it is. So for the people out there, we got to give the people what they want. They want to pick. They want to pick in this early game right here. And I'm going to give you a pick, and we can roll it on down and get up out of here. But LSU, USC, under a touchdown, I'm taking LSU. Kelly's preparation has been immaculate throughout his career. Opening game against USC. Even the years we opened at Notre Dame versus Texas and stuff, we gave out a great fight and almost win. But now he opens as a favorite with LSU against a USC team that has a couple things to work out on the field. And I think he scores about 13 points more than USC. So I'm on LSU minus the 6.5. How about you, Wine?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to be on this under in this. I think it's going to be more of a defensive battle. I have this projected more of about a 54.5. I see it's at a 62.5, so I'm going to take the under 62.5 in this one.
Go ahead. Give them what they want, Big Ragu. Big Ragu is not from the West Coast, but he did very well judging USC last year from Central Florida to the West Coast.
I tell you what, I got to give Pac-12 all the credit. They had a swan song of a season last year. A ton of great quarterbacks, a ton of great, competitive games, a seesaw battle for the championship. So, I hope they continue on in the other leagues that they go to. But evidently, it's a new season, new blood, new everything for this team. But I got to say, coming out of the gates, they might be a little bit slow trying to figure out that offense a little bit. I think the defense will be intact. I kind of lean with Wine on the underlook. But, you're giving Kelly them points, and he's played some openers real tough, ever since I've known him, at Notre Dame, at LSU. So the points are going to be at a premium early here. So I'm going to take if it goes to 7, jump all over that thing. But I think we're going to see the number dip down a little bit before kick. So I'd grab the 6.5 now. They always say traditionally wait for the dog money, to come in late and take the points. But today, at today's number, the 6.5 looks mighty tempting to me. So I'm with you on LSU.
There we go. You heard it right here first on the Boss and the Sauce with my man Wine Time. And we are out of here.